All right, everybody, welcome back. Today, I want to take you guys down the rabbit hole of why it seems like evil people win and why the righteous it seems like they're getting royally effed over. Okay, so quick disclaimer, if you hear anything in the background, loud noises or whatever, understand I'm in a different country, traveling right now, and the way that they build construction here, the walls are paper thin. You can damn near hear a mouse fart. Okay, so just understand that. So now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. Why does it seem like evil people are winning while the righteous are getting royally effed over? And it's simply because they are. A lot of evil people are winning, and a lot of the righteous people are getting royally effed over. Now, we're smart enough to realize that this isn't everybody. But usually when you have these type of discussions, people like to spoon feed you BS to say things like, oh, bro, these evil people, they may have the money and the car and the clothes and the family and the vacations and the lifestyle, but bro, when they go to bed at night, bro, they're so depressed and they're so empty inside and da 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 da. Listen, are there some people out there like that? Of course. But trust me when I say there are a lot of individuals out there who you would classify as quote unquote bad or quote unquote evil, and they live perfectly great lives. So great that you would trade with them in a heartbeat, okay? So why is that? Why does it seem that way? The very short answer to this question is they're cheating. And I have to break that down because usually when most people think about cheating, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to do this, but they do it anyway and it works out for them and da 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 da. And yes, there's a lot of that going on, but at the same time, I want to get very deep because this gets very, very deep when it comes to what it is that I'm about to talk about. So let's get a little deeper here. The way that I want you to think about this is not so surface level to where a person took 3 instead of 1 and they keep doing that and they got rich, okay? What I really want you to realize is that they are psychologically lying to you to have you handicap yourself so you cannot win. MD, please explain because this is confusing. I got you, okay? I want you to imagine that it's me and you in a village, right? And we're playing this game, and the game is called Pick Berries, okay? And the reason why we're playing this game is simply because we're hungry and we don't want to die of starvation. Well, what I notice is that you're actually pretty good at picking berries. You're a lot better than me. You understand? And I see every time you come back with like 3 baskets full. Now, again, the berries are abundant, da da da. You come back with like 3 baskets full. I'm coming over with like my 1.5. And I'm like, dang, man, like, if this keeps going on, him and his family is going to have way more berries than me and my family. You understand? And so what I decided to do is I decided that one day I said, hey, man, hey, listen, bro, like, we're out here picking berries and, that's cool. I think you're doing a great job, but I just don't think it's fair for everybody else. And you're like, wait, what? What do you mean? And like, listen, man, old Judy down the street, she's pregnant and, she can't be out here like you 10 hours a day picking berries. She has to wait, she has to do like 4 hours and she only could go during certain times and her husband can't help her and her kids, kids carry diseases and they can't really pick berries the same way. I just don't think it's fair for everybody. And so, hey, man, we're kind of talking together and I think that we should have like certain times to where we can pick berries and then have like limits of like how much we can pick. And of course, you being a reasonable person, because the average human being, listen, people may be people, but when push comes to shove, we're reasonable individuals, and we kind of just want our own, and then don't want to make too much waves. We don't want to inconvenience other people, things of that nature, okay? And so you're like, yeah, man, yeah, and you know what? That's okay, because you look at your berries, you're like, we do 3, but, if I'm being honest, 1 is good for me and my family. We have a lot of berries saved up, da 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 da, okay? And so you adopt that. And guess what? It works out. You look at the pregnant girl, she's like, oh, thank you so much, da 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 da. And I'm over here picking my one berry or my one basket of berries, and everything is like Luturu wada wada. Okay? Now, here's what I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine that, you have kids, and I have kids, and then I tell them about the berry picking game. And you tell them about the berry picking game. And you say, okay, listen, you're only going to go during this time. You can only pick this amount of berries at once, because you explain to them, like, we're good people of this society, community. We want to make sure everybody gets their fair share, and da. So our kids grow up, and they're doing the same game, and they have kids. Okay, they have kids. They're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations deep. Okay, so now the berry picking game is psychologically solidified in our families. Okay, you can't go out during a certain time. One day, one of your great grandkids decides he gets up because he has to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. He goes out there and he notices somebody from my family picking berries. And he's like, what the fuck? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And again, judging by the berry picking game rules, you're not supposed to be out here past 12. You see what I'm saying? And so he sees it, and he's like, he hides behind something. He's watching him pick berries, and the man has like 3 or 4 baskets full. And he's scratching his head like, what the fuck? What's going on? Right? So let's go ahead and skip past a lot of storytelling here and get back to the point. What your son or your daughter, whoever, ended up realizing is that you guys have been playing by these quote unquote rules your entire life, because again, you're good people, you're reasonable individuals. You got to your point to where you're like, we got enough, we're humble, right? But the whole time, my family for generations has been picking 4 or 5 baskets a day when you're not even supposed to, and the restricted hours we go and we pick berries. And now you in your mind, you're like, wait a minute, bro, that's cheating. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I talk about when I say they're cheating. You're like, wait, that's cheating. Like, what do you mean? Because again, the way that the game is played, the berry picking game is played, is we have these sets of rules. We want to make sure everybody's getting berries and da. But then you come to find out that your family and a handful of others are the only ones that are really playing by these rules. Here are some other people who aren't following any of that BS. And again, a lot of people say, bro, that's cheating, that's not fair, da. But you have to remember, if we take it all the way back to the beginning, to when we first made the rules in the first place, the game in the first place, it was completely made up. It was 100% made up. There was no real reason why you couldn't pick berries after a certain time. There was no real reason why you couldn't pick more than 1 basket. You were simply convinced to, because again, at that time, the person was using some people's needs to be liked. They were using peer pressure, social validation, whatever type of tactics that they were using to ensure that you would second guess yourself and damn near handicap yourself from getting all that you could, simply because, again, the motive of the person was like, they're picking too many berries and they're having more than me, which is basically greed. And so to take that story of what we just learned about that, there is so psychologically deep in all of us that we mentally handicap ourselves into not receiving the things that we are ultimately destined for if we actually want it. So what do I mean by that? Here's where we're going to get into the useful things, the meat and potatoes, right? There are a lot of guys who, so you guys know, right? If you've been a follower of my channel for a while, you guys know that, one, you should have a journal, right? If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. You should have a journal, because if you write down, and I've done this experiment so many times, to the fact that it's my way of life. I've even had a group, I want to say, of over 30 guys, maybe even 40 guys who I have personally seen do this, and things happen in their life, to where if you start off the year, and you write in your journal like 3 big things that you want, and trust me, it's not too late for you to do that. You can do that now. We'll start at the beginning of January. You write down 3 big things that you want. Now, again, be a little bit reasonable, but also at the same time, don't be that reasonable. Just write things down. So it's like, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to double my income, Oh, I want to do whatever. I want to find a girlfriend, whatever. Just write 3 big goals that you want to happen this year down, right? If you write those things down and periodically, okay, ultimately you want to do it once a week, but life gets in the way. Most of us aren't that disciplined. So, once every 2 weeks, maybe once even every month, you just kind of look back at that journal and you say, oh, let me make sure that I'm trying to make progress toward this goal. If you do that for 12 months, 9 times out of 10, you're going to receive the thing that you want. Now, again, of course, let's be realistic. Let's be adults. If you're going to write down, oh, I want $1 billion, like, come on, let's be honest, right? But if you're saying something like, I want to increase my income by 5K or 10K or 30K, things like that can happen. It's very reasonable for the average human being to make that happen, okay? So again, the reason why I have you guys write these things down is because your brain is a program machine. It's simply a digestion of information. You input information and it gives you an output. One of the best ways to play around with this or even train is if you say things like red car, red car, red car, red car, red car. You just keep saying it to yourself. You find a picture of a red car. You look at the red car. You say red car, red car, red car, red car. You wait, 30 minutes, an hour. You say red car, red car, red car. Keep red car. What's going to happen is if you go outside or if you go traveling or something, what's going to happen is you're going to start to notice a lot of red cars. And it's not that it's magical or that you quote unquote manifested it. That I'll say things like that for entertainment purposes. But the reality of the situation is you've told your brain to focus on red car. And so normally your brain would filter out red cars because you don't give a shit about red cars. But now that you're saying red car, red car, red car, red car, you're focusing on it more. When you go outside or you travel, I can guarantee you're going to see the most amount of red cars that you've seen in your life. Now, again, this isn't like a one and done thing. If you continuously do this over time, it's kind of like a slow buildup depending on your belief system. Okay? So again, you're going to go out there and you're going to see that because again, you've input red car into your brain and your brain output and say, hey, look, here's that. So if we take that concept of input output, whatever I'm inputting into my brain, I'm going to get some sort of output. If we input that, so my theory about it when I first started learning about these things was, why can't I just input things in my life that I want to happen? And over time, my brain's going to output that. And it first started, my very first thing that I tell a lot of guys to play around with, of course, the red car thing, that's very simple. But the one that really gets everybody on my side is called the Dream Girl Profile. Now, if you're a veteran of this channel, you already know about the Dream Girl Profile. But for my guys who don't know what a Dream Girl Profile is, it's a very simple concept. You take a notebook, your notes, whatever, okay? And the very first step is you have to believe this is possible. Listen, I know it's corny. I know it's cheesy, but trust me, bro, the belief is what powers the whole thing. You have to believe this is possible, okay? Once you believe it's possible, you have to believe it's possible for it to happen to you. Now, this may seem like a very simple concept, but a lot of you guys are your own worst enemies, and so you doubt yourself and you doubt every piece of information that's trying to help you. But I believe in you. So listen, you write that down and you say, okay, this is what you do with your Dream Girl Profile. You write down her hair color, okay? You write down how tall she is. You write down the type of background she has, right? A 2-parent background. Maybe she's college educated. Maybe she's sweet. You write down characteristics. She's sweet. She's understanding. She's cute. She a smile that lights up a room. Whatever, bro. Okay. When you first start doing this, keep it very basic. How tall she is, hair color, race, and a little something that kind of reminds you that, oh shit, this is real. You know what I mean? It's like something like that. Like maybe she's into anime or something like that, or maybe her father built something. Whatever. What's gonna happen is, and again, the time frame is different for everybody, right? I've had it to where I've done this and it's happened instantly, okay? And I've also had it to where it's taken 6 months. right? Because again, it depends on what you write down. The more specific that you get, of course, obviously, you're not going to be able to find that as easily as you would if you were to write down somebody who's like, oh, 5'6", brunette who likes sports. You know what I mean? Like you'll be able to easily find that. But if you write down more complicated things, it's going to take a little bit more time, depending on, again, your belief systems and how you look at the world. So again, once you write that down, what's going to happen is over time, now again, it can happen instantly or it can happen over time. Something's going to happen to where you're going to be walking one day, maybe you're in a grocery store, maybe something random. You're not even going to think about it anymore. And then you're going to see this girl walk by and she's going to be I wouldn't even say exactly. I would say very, very close to exactly what you said. So let's say you wrote down like 5'2", right? She might be 5'3", you know what I'm saying? Or 5'1". You get what I mean? It's like something like that. But the moment you see her, something's going to click in your brain, and it's going to be like the way that your brain communicates, like, hey, that's who you asked for. And it's going to hit you like a train, bro. It's going to hit you like a train. I'm being a little exaggerated. It's not going to hit you like a train. It's just going to be like a whoa, like a deja vu type of moment where you're like, wait a minute. Like, oh shit, MD's right. MD's right. And you're going to see her, and you're probably going to do what 90% of guys do in these moments when they first happen, is you're going to watch her, and you're going to watch her walk right on by. You're not going to say hi. You're not going to pursue her. You're not going to da-da-da. But again, that's going to tell you like, bro, this thing is real. And so if that happens with that, why wouldn't you be writing down things that you ultimately want? The reason why I start off a lot of my videos with like I'm traveling in a different country, things of that nature, is because, again, you have to be an OG veteran subscriber before I deleted like 500 videos. But back in the day, I used to talk about this. I'd be like, bro, you guys, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be making videos in these different countries. You guys are going to see. Just wait, blah, 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 blah. A lot of you guys were there when I was homeless. And then I got the Mustang. And then I had the apartment. And then, come on, bro. Anyways, you guys remember that. That's when I was like training it. I was trying to like get it better and better and better. So how does this relate to the topic at hand? It's very simple. Evil people, quote unquote, bad people, evil people, they're doing exactly what I'm talking about. Except instead of the dream girl profile, they're doing it with their entire reality. And when they do it with their entire reality, things are working out for them what it looks like things are working out for them, because it is working out for them. You're seeing that the things that they've written down in their journal, or however their method of quote unquote manifesting happens. The reason why it doesn't really work for a lot of people is simple, or at least a lot of righteous people, a lot of good people, a lot of people who don't mean but harm by the average person, is simply because of the belief system that you have. Now, I'm not saying that your beliefs are wrong. I'm not saying that your beliefs are negative or bad. But what I am saying is there are a lot of psychological beliefs, like the Barry story. There's a lot of psychological beliefs that you have that stop your ability to get the things that you want. You're essentially handicapping yourself. I notice this a lot when I talk to guys and I break them through this for the first time, right? When they have consultations with me, and I asked them, I'm like, bro, if you could get 3 things to happen to you this year, what would it be? And most of the times, most guys, when they're almost like afraid to tell me what they want. Not because they don't trust me or anything like that. It's simply because they don't believe that they're the type of person who can get it or achieve it without some type of BS happening in their life. And because you hold that belief, that means that the only way that you're going to get good things to happen in your life is if you go through the BS that you've pre-programmed into your story. Now, again, this is very easy for people who have clean slates, like children, or people who just had really good teachers or really great parents who knew about this stuff, right? But for the average person, again, most of us, we weren't born in ideal conditions. We weren't born in things that gave us a healthy upbringing. And so there's a lot of things that we have to internally change within ourselves in order to reach that baseline to where we can start getting things that we want. So let me give you guys a quick example. Usually my most popular one when guys are talking about trying to get girls is I say, okay, well, what kind of girl do you want? and they say, oh, I want this type of girl, but they always follow it up with something like, oh, I'm not rich enough to get a girl like that, or say, oh, I'm not tall enough, or I'm not good looking enough, or I'm not blah 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 to get that type of girl. And it's like, bro, it's like they don't even see it. It's like, bro, that's the reason why you're not getting those girls, is simply because you're telling yourself a story that you're too this to not be able to get this. And then your brain is like, okay. And it puts you in situations that validates everything that you've just told yourself. Does that make sense? So if you're saying like, oh, bro, girls only like tall guys, what's going to end up happening is you're going to keep going into situations over and over again to where you're going after girls who only like tall guys. You understand what I'm saying? Why is that? Because that's the thing that you're inputting into your brain, and your brain is like, okay, and it outputs that. I call things like this, I call them genie wishes. You guys know genie wishes? You guys know the lore of a genie? If you ever watched a cartoon, you guys know this very well. Genies, like you get a genie, you rub the lamp, and the genie comes out. It's like, oh, I'm a powerful genie. You get 3 wishes, right? And the guy's like, oh, I wish for $1 million, right? And then the genie says, as you command. And then he starts hearing like the ground shake and rumble. And then here come a million male deer, and they're all like trampling him and stuff like that. It's like, why did that happen? Because you asked for $1 million. You understand? Listen, I'm laughing because it's funny, but bro, that shit is not fucking funny when it's you. You understand what I'm saying? Because you'll ask for something and then you'll get it. But then you'll get it and you'll realize that it sucks ass, or you'll get it and you'll realize that it's incomplete. And so then you have to go back to the drawing board and ask for something a lot more detailed. So it's something like that. That's why I tell guys just to play around with the red car thing, and then play around with the red car thing, and then play around with sorry guys, I'm getting food delivered and I think they're like really close. Play around with the red car thing, and then play around with the Dream Girl profile. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if my food is like right here. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to make a part 2 to this. I'm going to go get my fucking food, though. And I'll see you guys in a minute, all right? Peace out.